you, Doc. Our first guest tonight is this year's Miss Universe, who entered the title as Miss Trinidad Tobago and won the title from, I think, contestants from 80 countries were in the contest this year. And we thought you might like to meet her. She's a very, very pretty young lady. Her name is Janelle Comosong, Miss Universe 1977. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, did you hear Ed and I talking about we had both?
A bit.
Yeah.
Not too much.
He said also that he had picked you at the beginning of the contest, and I really did.
Oh, I thought you said your wife did.
Well, he said my wife did. He just didn't want me to have all of it. How are you?
Fine.
Somebody said that you just got in town, or you got lost on the freeway?
Yes, for 2 hours.
Which I'm sorry. You flew in from where today?
From New York.
From New York? You came out to our wonderful airport and got in a car. And what happened? The driver just...
freeways for 2 hours.
Where did you go? Do you know? Have any idea where you were?
No, but I saw the Hollywood freeway at least 10 times.
I don't know whether you know this, Janelle, but we have people who've been on the freeway for 10, 12 years and are just going around, going around on clover leaves and have raised a family and been very happy there. They can never get off. Is this your first trip out here?
No, it's about my 5th.
Oh, really?
I've been here for the past 4 years, maybe once a year,
Yeah.
twice a year.
I read a brief thing in the paper where you kind of entered the contest, not particularly that you'd been looking forward to it, but I don't know, you never know when you read the press whether they're true or not, that you'd seen a picture of a contestant from last year and says, oh, I'll give it a shot.
Right, that's just exactly how it happened.
Really? Mm-hmm. But you hadn't, since you were a little girl, said, gee, I want to be Miss Universe or something?
Well, I think it's something every young girl fantasizes about.
Yeah.
But the strange thing is, being in New York and looking at the show every year, I never thought that I would ever be participating in it. It just seemed like fantasy.
You know, a lot of people put down the beauty contest, whether it's Miss America or Miss Universe or Miss so-and-so, but they get the biggest ratings practically of any shows that are presented in this country every single year.
They do.
But I understand that from Trinidad, they didn't even carry it in television in Trinidad, right?
No, I think they ran it Monday night. This Monday
After
night.
everybody knew that you'd won
Right.
it. Now, your folks, I understand, currently live in New York City.
Yes, they do. So they looked at the show live.
Did they phone you right afterwards?
They certainly did.
Yeah. My favorite part of the show, outside of watching you gals, is Bob Barker interviewing the girls who don't speak English. Bob does a wonderful job, he really does, but Bob learns just enough of the language to get himself in hot water. You know, and the poor girl will come up from Puerto Rico or Spain or something, and Bob will, ¿Cómo está usted? ¿A dónde vive usted? And then he tries to get something out of him, and when the girl walked away after this conversation went nowhere, Bob says, adios. And I fell right out of the chair. How long are you down there? Somebody told me now. I want to ask you about this. As soon as you get in Santo Domingo, all of the girls, I assume, are met by a chaperone.
Right.
I suppose a local lady that has been assigned to look after you. And from that moment that you arrive there, all during the couple of weeks that you spend there, you're not out of their sight. You can't meet anybody else. You are told where to go, when to go, so forth. There's certain regulations.
In the beginning, that's the way it is. You're like married to each other.
Yeah.
The chaperone really doesn't let you out of her sight. But I think after the first week, she starts to trust you, and you can, have dinner with other girls, and she sort of lets you out of her sight for a while.
Yeah. I always wonder what they think you're going to do. Run off and disappear or get married or something like that. You were also voted Miss Photogenic.
Yes, I was.
And I can see why.
Thank you.
Do you get tired all the time of the photographer saying, now let's give us a big smile, until you just sometimes through your teeth want to say, I can't take any more of this?
No, not really. Now I'm getting used to it. I just smile automatically.
Really? You got a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
Do you ever model at all?
No.
Really? Somebody said you went to, in New York, attended school for a couple of years.
Yes, Fashion Institute of Technology, and I studied merchandising.
Yeah. Is that what you'd like to do?
Yes, well, I worked as a buyer in New York for 3 years, and when I moved back to Trinidad, it was to open my own boutique.
And did you?
I was in the process, and then I got involved in the show.
Are you glad you got involved in the show?
Sure.
Now, as I understand, I don't know what happens at these contests. You were interviewed, obviously, by the judges during the week that you're there, individually, right?
Right.
What kind of questions do they ask you? What are they allowed to ask you? What are they not allowed to ask you?
Well, it's really not an interview. It's basically a little chat. They want to get to know more about you, your personality, how you feel about the contest. And a question they always ask is, do you want to be Miss Universe?
It seems like an obvious question, otherwise you wouldn't be there, right? Did
But
they
it's
ask you
more-
why you want to be Miss Universe?
Some do.
Right.
Some do. But it's more a little chat between the judge and yourself as
Right.
opposed to question and answer.
Right. So you said you have to do this more than one judge, or?
Yes, you have to go to all 12 judges. All
Well,
12.
what do they ask different than the other judge, for example?
Most of them ask the same
Same
things.
questions?
Same things.
Doesn't that become a little tiresome, answering the same question?
Yes, but you get good at answering them after a while.
I'm trying to think of a question they might not have asked you, because you've probably been asked every question since you've won this contest in the world, right? And you think of something that you would like to say that you haven't been asked.
No, I think the reporters have covered just
Covered
about
everything?
everything, yes.
Yeah.
Even things that I wouldn't like to answer, they've asked.
Like what?
Well,
This is what I'm looking for, this kind of stuff. No, I wouldn't embarrass you or
Okay.
anything, but
no, I had one
what kind of questions
reporter-
don't you like to ask, and then you don't have to answer?
No, one guy asked me something in reference to, was it premarital sex, I think? And that was the morning after I was crowned.
I mean, now that's a little personal, isn't it?
I think so.
No. How about postmarital sex? That seems to be the problem. There seems to be no problem with premarital sex. I'm just kidding, honey. That's, no, look. Joanna, my love, a little humor. This is the way I make my living, and sometimes we have to pay in both ends for this job. Think that covers me at home all right? No, it's too easy a joke, and I shouldn't have said that. You, well, this may be too personal, too, and you don't have to answer it, Janelle. Did I pronounce your name right, Janelle?
Yes.
Do you have a current boyfriend, or?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. How does he feel? A lot of fellows would kind of be jealous, because now there are going to be a lot of demands on your time. You're going to be traveling all over the world. You're going to be meeting a lot of interesting, charming, provocative people. And, he could, is he jealous? Did he say?
He's very happy for me and excited,
That's
but I
nice.
think he's beginning to get a bit jealous and...
That can happen. Now, for Miss Universe, you get a cash prize,
Yes.
and a scholarship, I understand?
A cash scholarship.
Cash scholarship. And you travel for the entire year.
You travel for a year, right?
Mhm. You looking forward to that?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. Where are you off to first? Do they have a whole schedule kind of set out?
Well, I think I have a schedule until the second week of September.
Mhm.
I go to Toronto on Friday,
Right.
then to Trinidad, which I'm looking forward to.
I'll bet.
And then back to Texas, then Colombia, and Venezuela.
Now, when you're in the contest, I wonder if you're like the other people sitting at home. Do you kind of sit and look around at the other girls and say, I wonder who's going to be in the finalists?
No.
You never
No.
do? Or say, it might be me, or obviously you're hoping that you're going to be
Right.
in the...
No, well, I had about 7 girls that didn't make the 12 that I picked. I thought they would make it.
And they didn't make it.
They did.
Oh, they
7
did
out
make
of the
it.
12, yeah.
Well, that's very good, because you get to know them there, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Is there, now this is a personal question again, I hope you'll forgive me. But the contest is based on beauty, face, figure, personality, poise, and et cetera, and able to handle yourself in a situation. Is there any way that a girl could fake her physical, well, could look healthier than she say is? It's an interesting question. A lot of people have wondered about that. I don't know. Nobody except me, I guess, has wondered about it. Come, I don't know why I'm laying this question off from everybody else, but I just wondered if,
If it's, well, it's not allowed. It's stated in, the
Is that
doctor's
one of the
handbook.
things in the
It's not
manuals?
allowed, right. But I guess it's possible.
I suppose you could,
You
but
could.
I don't imagine anybody would, really. Yeah. Do they give you a whole manual of do's and don'ts?
Yes, before we got to Santo Domingo.
What
we
are some of
got
the
a
don'ts
manual.
outside of that one?
Don'ts, well, you're not allowed to drink alcohol, only light wines and champagnes, if any. You're not allowed to really have company, like to go out with other people.
Right.
You're not allowed to go outside the hotel at all. What else?
The reason I ask this is because I remember I emceed one Miss Universe contest once. I think it was 1961 in Miami. And you were right, the girls are very well behaved, and there is no drinking.
Right.
The only time, so it's when they announced the losers. And the losers know before the end of the night is over that they are not one of the finalists. And it gets a little, as you say, there's a little wine and champagne drunk by some of the losers after it was over. And they discussed a lot of the other girls.
They discuss, you said?
They discussed some of the other girls in the contest. Did you hear any of that at all? I mean, any of the girls?
No, not really.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, nobody was catty during the entire
Yeah,
contest?
well, I think you have that when you get a bunch of women together anyway.
Yeah.
But nothing,
You got a point. Men, too, I suppose.
no, nothing out of the ordinary.
What happened? Somebody told me a story about your sash. You were supposed to do a production number and you forgot the sash or
no,
couldn't
I
take
didn't
it?
really forget it. This was the number that the girls did while the 12 semifinalists were changing into their gowns.
Right.
So we all got our dresses, and there was a sash to go with it. And I just didn't take it because I had a feeling I was going to make the 12 semifinalists, so I wouldn't need it.
Now, that's nice. You see, that's confidence.
Right.
Hey, you're a very lovely young lady, and we're glad you could stop here. You're going to have a very busy year. And I'm sorry that you got lost here
It's okay.
in the Hollywood Freeway, but if you come back, at least you know where the Hollywood Freeway is.
Right.
Huh? Hey, have a nice year, will you?
Thank you very
And thank
much.
you, Janelle, very much
Thank
for being
you.
with us.
Thank you.
Good luck. That's a pretty young lady. She really is, and she handles herself so well. You know, that's tough to go out, win a contest like that and be in front of millions of people. It sounds so, it looks so simple when you sit at home and girls walk out and they ask them just simple little questions. You know as well as I do, the first time you appear in front of an audience of literally, now they have about 120 million people watching that show. That can be very grim.
And that walk after you win, you walk out and view your subjects. That's not easy.
We'll never know.
You walk out here every night when I announce you. You walk out to your star.
I don't come with a crown and a scepter in my
But
and
you
a
leave it up in the
swimsuit.
dressing
In the
room.
swimsuit. Of course I leave it in the dressing room. I'm trying to tell everybody. Don't come out in my swimsuit. We have Charles Nelson Riley, Norm Crosby, and Evelyn Keyes with us tonight. So stay right where you are. We'll be back in a minute.